Hi, this is Chef Vineet Bhatia. Now we all love to have paneer at home, but have you ever wondered how do you actually make paneer? And I get asked this question very often. How does your paneer come out so soft? And how do you add flavors into paneer? Or how to make paneer in your own homes? And we're going to use milk and we're going to use cream for that. So to start it off, we first got a pot here. Try and take a heavy bottom pot with straight long sides because the milk will boil. And in this, I like to add full fat milk. Now, full fat milk, what you get here in the Middle East and in Dubai or in the Western world isn't similar to what we get back in India. In India, they actually use buffalo milk, and it's fresh milk. So when you actually have buffalo milk, it has a very high fat content, a natural content, and that when you split on its own gives you very nice curdles of milk coming up or solid particles, which you then make it into paneer. Now, unfortunately, in the Western world, it is processed milk, it's pasteurized, and it goes through various processes. You get them in Tetra packs or in these bottles here, and it's not the same quality. So it's very, very difficult to actually get the same kind of a paneer feel in your own homes if you're using just milk. So to enhance the fat content in the milk, I actually use cooking cream. So I would say I would use 2/3 of milk and I would use 1/3 of cooking cream. This cooking cream has got a 24% fat. The milk will probably have around 18% fat. And all I'm going to do now is actually going to bring this milk to a boil, and make sure to keep stirring the bottom so the milk doesn't get burned and stick at the bottom here. So normally when you have paneer in India, it's got a very high fat content. Anything between 25 to 30% is the fat content in milk. In the outside world, in Middle East or in Europe, you don't get that high content. You probably get around full fat milk around 18%, or you get the cooking cream around 25-24% is the max you will get. Now if you use pure cream and try to curdle it, it will never come through, it will never curdle. And if you just use milk, there's not enough yield going to come through. So that is the reason why I personally like to mix both half milk or 2/3 milk and 1/3 cream and bring that to a boil and to form the paneer. Now, as soon as the milk comes to a boil, a lot of people make the mistake in the boiling milk or the boiling milk and cream mixture, they add some kind of a lemon juice or they add vinegar into it to curdle the milk. Never do that. It doesn't split completely well. Take it off the heat, let it rest for a couple of minutes, and then add in your either vinegar or your lemon juice into it and let it curdle on its own. Do not mix it too aggressively. You don't want the paneer pieces to break up and become small. So try and keep them as chunky as possible. You have to be very careful with the milk. You need to keep on stirring it all the while, otherwise it tends to boil over. And you can see it's suddenly beginning to simmer, and all of a sudden it will all come. So always have a spatula handy, keep stirring it, and when you feel it's going to start bubbling out, move it off the heat and don't let it overflow. Now also you got to remember, milk has a very neutral flavor on its own. So when you have paneer, it is very bland, it's just milky. You can do a lot with an ingredient like milk and cream. You can add a lot of flavors into this. You can add some herbs, you can add chili flakes, you can add olives into this, you can add spices into this, you can add whatever you want. And when you split the milk or the paneer, when the paneer is being formed, all the spices or whatever flavorings you're adding into the milk mixture curdles together and they stick together. And when you strain it off, all you're straining off is actually the whey or the water of the milk. The rest, all the goodness, the protein and the milk particles, the milk solids and the spices are all held together. So what you would get at that stage is basically masala paneer or the spice paneer. So any flavoring could work. Try it. You can add chilies in them, you can add chopped garlic into it, you can add coriander into it, you can add fennel seeds into it, you can add spices into it, you can add basil into it, coriander, mint. It is an endless. It just opens up the entire world for you in terms of flavors, and you can make it your own. And when you have a masala paneer or a spice paneer, then you can actually add any flavoring, or you can grill it, have it on its own. It works quite well. So this is now almost ready. It has come to a boil once. I'm now going to add a bit of lemon juice, maybe give one more rapid boil. You can feel the heat. It's beginning to bubble. It tells me that this is now ready. I don't want it to spill over. So lightly just tap the top and the milk and the foam settles down. Switch off the heat and I will let it rest for a couple of minutes and then add my lemon juice. I'm going to now add my lemon juice and going to keep my fingers crossed that the paneer splits. There we are. That's fresh lemon juice, almost a tablespoon and a half. You can use white wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, or just plain white vinegar. Even that would work well. There you can see this fat coming on top. So that is your paneer, also known as chena or the curdled milk. So all the milk solids are all split up and they're all coming together. In case when you add your lemon juice or the vinegar and it does not split, it means you need to add a little more of the citric. So you can actually up the content of the vinegar or the lemon juice, but just make sure you don't add too much. If God forbid you do add a lot of extra lemon juice into your milk to curdle it, it will taste sour. So the best way to do that is when you're straining it off, you run through a little bit of warm water, not cold water, warm water. Just wash it through very, very gently and very quickly, and don't leave it for too long, and then strain it through the cloth. So there you see the milk is curdling. Also at this stage, do not stir the pan rigorously. Let it just stay on its own for 4 or 5 minutes. The milk solids will separate from the water and your curdled milk is going to be quite distinct and clean. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get large chunks of the fat coming together, and that tells you that a paneer is ready. Paneer is ready. I'm now going to strain it through a cloth, a fine cheesecloth or a muslin cloth. So I've got a muslin cloth which I have slightly dampened up. I have a pot, I have a strainer, and I have my cheesecloth. So I put this on top, press it down, and I'm going to now strain it here. The reason for the cheesecloth over a strainer is because it is a bit more finer. I want the water to go through, but I don't want the particles to go through. The cheesecloth is quite fine, so it holds it together, and the strainer keeps it into shape. There you can see the split. There are a few brown particles which you see, which is the residue at the bottom which got slightly stuck. But that is okay, you can always take it off afterwards. You see the kind of a curdle you've got, and that is what you wanted to have for a paneer. Now I take it from the 4 sides and I'm going to lightly squeeze out the moisture. So you can see that? That's the whey. Now, a lot of people actually throw this whey away and they don't use it. But the whey is actually full of nutrients, it's very rich, it is still milk. Although we have the milk solids here, which is the chena or the paneer, nutrients are also still here. So don't chuck it out. You can use it to make soups, you can add it into stocks or into making rice dishes, it works well. You can even use it in your garden, you put it along with your plants. It's nutritious, it really works well. Now the first stage of making this paneer is known as chena, which is the crumble. That's called as the chena. Now when you press the chena and you keep it for a few hours pressed, it becomes a firm block. That is known as paneer, which I'm going to show you now. But first let me show you the technique. So I tie a knot, I do a second knot, and I just go around. Now if I drain out all of the moisture now, what will happen is all the water is removed, and what I will get is a very firm cheese, a very hard paneer. I don't want a very hard paneer, I want it to be nice and soft. So what we do is we can either leave it hanging in the fridge overnight with a little skewer and a bowl underneath, the water all dripped down, and you can get a firm paneer. Or the simplest trick is to actually use a little plate, and you press the plate on top and you add a little weight. So I have got this pot of water. I'm just going to leave that here, let that stay for a couple of hours, 2 hours at the most. So all the water is taken off. The heavier the weight, the more it will press. I don't want it completely compressed, and I don't want to make it very hard. I want it to be nice and dense, so when you actually cook it, it softens up. So I'll leave it for 2 hours, and I'm going to show you what a block of paneer looks like. The pressing of the paneer is extremely important because that removes all the water from the paneer. And a lot of you may probably ask me a question that why do you need to put a weight on the top? Why can't you just squeeze out the water from the paneer all together in one go and just use it as it is? The reason for that is because the paneer is still warm. If I actually squeeze out all the water, which I can, it will still become very crumbly. It will not become, it will become like a ricotta. It will be very crumbly and loose. It will not become firm. Once I keep it pressed on a slow drip of the water going out, it's also the heat in the paneer which is keeping the protein together. So that mass sticks to each other like a glue, a natural glue. It comes, the heat helps it to bind together, and at the same time it lets most of the water will drop out. You don't want the paneer to be having a high moisture content, because when you cook the paneer, the first thing will happen, it will break down into smaller granules. So you need to extract as much as water as you can, but still keeping a very tiny amount of moisture, just to keep the paneer nice and soft when it cooks. So after 2 hours, if you want a really dry paneer, you leave it for 6 hours or overnight, but I think 2 hours is more than enough for you to get a nice kind of a spongy paneer. I cannot wait for 2 hours to show you that, but I can show you what we have done earlier. So this is what you would get, a paneer. So I've cut it into a little square just to show you what the paneer would be like. And once the paneer is done, you can slice it up. You can do thin slices, you can do cubes if you want. You can grate the paneer and put into garnishes for dish. Very, very versatile. And if you remember, I told you that you can actually add flavors and spices and herbs and vegetables into the milk to flavor the paneer, and you will get a nice masala paneer. Packed with protein, very healthy, very nutritious, and very good for you to eat, and a good alternative for people who don't eat non-veg. I hope you learned a nice simple technique of how you can use milk, bulk it up with a cream, and to form a paneer. So make sure you try making paneer at home and let me know how it goes. So until next time, happy cooking.